You can step out of that into now. And that may happen many times during the day. You step out of that, and suddenly you realize, oh, I've lost the now. Where is it? Here. And then perhaps one or two breaths can take you into the body, and you sense an aliveness which takes your attention away from mental noise, and the alertness suddenly is there. And with that is also the alertness to sense perceptions. That before, when you were immersed in this, you were almost completely unaware of. Most people move through the world being only peripherally aware of whatever surrounds them, the beauty that is everywhere, but it's obscured by mind and mental noise. And you step out, oh. Some of you are already experiencing those moments, and you notice in that state of alert presence, there's a knowing that is non-conceptual. You can sit here feel your entire energy field. An alertness is there. Without a compulsion to interpret or label this moment. If you need labels, you have them. Sometimes they are needed. Somebody may ask you, what's your name? Or it's a label. Or your phone number, and then you'll know it. Or anything else if you needed one. But the liberation that comes from not compulsively interpreting continuously, which is labeling, which is judging, which is only done according to whatever the conditioning of your mind is. That's the way in which you interpret, label, and judge. And so you don't see what is, you're not at ease with what is, you're judging what is. And that's the mind. And with that, there is no, all those things that make life worth living are not there when you are trapped in the labeling, judging, interpreting mind. Compassion, love, a deep aliveness, a peaceful aliveness, vibrantly alive peace, to feel that you're alive, to feel the goodness of life every moment, beyond what is happening or not happening at this moment, a deeper goodness, not the goodness that is a moment of happiness which comes and goes, but a deeper goodness that is the goodness that some people find the moment they die, the last few seconds before the accident happens and kills them, and the last few, they suddenly a disidentification happens from all the conditioned mind patterns. And peace. And a deep knowing that despite those appearances which are telling you this is dreadful, despite the appearances, on a deeper level, all is well. And that realization, you don't have to wait for some disaster to approach you to have that. And that's the beauty of true spiritual teaching and the power of spiritual teaching. It tells you, no, you don't need to wait for death. Death is a possibility of realization. Approaching death, imminent death, death itself. But you don't need to wait for physical death, because you might not catch it even then. Not everybody does. So the beauty of spiritual teaching is really not only that you do not need a disaster, unless you truly need it. You do not need more intense suffering before you can get there. It's also some humans through intense mental, emotional suffering to a point where it becomes unbearable, and then suddenly something within them collapses that could be comparable to physical death, but it's a psychological death. It's a collapse of the psychological structure of me that has created so much suffering for myself that it can't sustain itself anymore and, so to speak, auto-destructs. That's another way. So life has all provided all these ways. It gives you death, and it gives you suffering. Beautiful, it's provided for realization of who you are beyond form. And the most gentle of all, it gives you spiritual teaching, true spiritual teaching. But that only applies to those who are ready to hear. And not everybody is yet ready to hear. Those who are not ready to hear, they need to be faced with death or intense suffering for realization. And they get it. And then there are some who are ready to hear. What are they ready to hear? They're ready to hear that you do not need a disaster to know who you are. You do not need more intense suffering in your life, mental or emotional, before you can know. And ultimately, it's saying you do not need more time before you can be free of that. That is the essence of spiritual teaching. It's telling you, you do not need more time. And everything in the conditioned human mind, collectively conditioned human mind, is telling you, no, I need more time to find myself, to be myself, to arrive, to make it, to complete myself, to complete the story of me that is going through my head every day. It's not complete, so I need time. So everything in the conditioned mind tells you, I need time. That is the psychological need for future, more time. It says, I need time because I'm not enough. I need more of this, I need more of that to complete myself. And that is true on the level of activities. Yes, everything requires time. Any exploration of new areas or new fields, acquiring new knowledge, learning new skills, those things, yes, require time. But we're not talking about those things. We're talking about knowing yourself, being yourself, knowing the essence of who you are. And for that, then here comes the spiritual teaching which says, you do not need more time to become free of the conditioned mind. Of thousands of years of conditioning, it does not take a few more thousand years to dissolve thousands of years of conditioning. To become free of time, you do not need more time. There's so much time accumulated inside me, I think I need another 5,000 years to dissolve that. And not only does the spiritual teaching tell you that you don't need more time, it also tells you that time is the one thing really, ultimately the illusion of time on the deepest level, the one thing that prevents you from realizing the fullness that is already here now, the fullness of life that is in you already, the completeness, the fullness that already is the essence of who you are. It's nothing to do with time.